Friends, we are very happy to inform you that e-modules are prepared for B.Ed program at Telangana by the School of Education, Osmania University under Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme MHRD New Delhi. It's indeed our pleasure to share with the teacher educators and the prospective teachers and get maximum benefit out of it. It's a first of its attempt by us. We continue to add many more such lessons to share with you all.
I am Dr. Boska Bhagyamma, working as Assistant Professor in Department of Education, Osmania University. Today I am going to teach about Social Studies Pedagogy. In that Social Studies, there are many social scientists contributed in Social Studies. Today we are going to discuss about Mother Teresa. You all are very familiar about Mother Teresa, and later we will discuss about Columbus. Mother Teresa is very familiar, and Mother Teresa, known in the Roman Catholic Church as Saint Teresa of Calcutta, was born in Albania on 26th August 1910 and was an Albanian Indian Roman Catholic nun, and she is a missionary. She was born in Skopje, now the capital of Macedonia, the part of the Kosovo Vilayet of the Ottoman Empire, and she was the youngest child of Nikolan Dranov Bozakshu and her father Bernoi, who was involved in Albanian community politics in Macedonia. He died in 1919 when she was 8 years old, and he may have been from Prizren, Kosovo, and her mother may have been from a village near Gojakovo. After living in Macedonia for 18 years, she moved to Ireland and then to India, where she lived for most of her reign. 1950, Teresa founded the Missionaries of Charity, a Roman Catholic religious congregation which had over 4,500 sisters, and she was very active in 1133 countries in 2012. The congregation manages homes for people dying of HIV, AIDS, leprosy and tuberculosis, soup kitchens, dispensaries and mobile clinics. And her family, and she is attending a family counseling programs, and she is attending to orphanages and schools. Members, they take vows of charity, poverty and obedience, also profess a fourth vow to give wholehearted free service to the poorest of the poor. Teresa received a number of honors because she is she is dedicated to the society and doing a social service, and she, including the 1962 Ramon Magsaysay Peace Award and 1979 a Nobel Peace Prize. She was canonized and it is recognized by the church as a saint on 4th September 2016. And the anniversary of her death is 5th September in her feast day. A controversial figure during her life and after her death. Teresa was admired by Anne for her charitable work. She was praised and criticized for her opposition to abortion and criticized for poor conditions in her houses for the dying. Her authorized biography was written by Navin Chawla and published in 1992, and she has been the subject of films and other books. On September 6, 2017, Teresa was named co-patron of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Calcutta alongside St. Francis Xavier. According to a biography by John Graff Lucas, during her early years, Teresa was fascinated by stories, of the lives of missionaries and their service in Bengal. By age 12, she was convinced that she should commit herself to religious life, a good commitment. Her resolve strengthened on 15th August 1928 as she prayed at the shrine of the Black Madonna of Vitina Letnies, where she often went on pilgrimages. Teresa left home in 1928 at age of 18 to join with the view of becoming a missionary. English was the language of instruction of the sisters of Loreto in India. So she went to learn English. She never saw her mother or her sister again. Her family lived in Skopje until 1934 when they moved to Tirana. She arrived in India in 1929 and began her novitiate in Darjeeling in the lower Himalayas, where she learned Bengali and taught at St. Teresa's School near her convent. Teresa took her first religious vows on 24th May 1931. She chose to be named after Teresa de Lisieux, the patron saint of missionaries, because a nun in the convent had already chosen that name. Agnes opted for its Spanish spelling, Teresa. Teresa took her solemn vows on 14th May 1937 while she was a teacher at the Loreto Convent School in eastern Calcutta. She served there for nearly 20 years and was appointed its headmistress in 1944. Although Teresa enjoyed teaching at the school, she was increasingly disturbed by the poverty surrounding her in Calcutta. The Bengal famine of 1943 brought misery and death to the city, and the August 1946 Direct Action Day began a period of Muslim-Hindu violence. As a missionary of charity, on 10th September 1946, Teresa experienced what she later described as the call within the call when she travelled by train to the Loreto Convent in Darjeeling from Calcutta for her annual retreat. One was to leave the convent and help the poor while living among them. It was an order to fail would have been to break the faith. Joseph Langford later wrote, though no one knew it at the time, Sister Teresa had just become Mother Teresa. So the entire world is calling Mother Teresa. She began a missionary work with the poor in 1948, replacing her traditional Loreto habit with a simple white cotton saree with a blue border. Teresa adopted Indian citizenship, spent several months in Patna to receive basic medical training at Holy Family Hospital and ventured into the slums. She roamed in slums and she dedicatedly helped a lot of slum people, and she founded a school in Motijil, Kolkata, before she began tending to the poor and hungry. At the beginning of 1949, Teresa was joined in her effort by a group of young women, and she laid the foundation for a new religious community helping the poorest among the poor. Her efforts quickly caught the attention of Indian officials. They wondered, including the Prime Minister, Teresa wrote in her diary that her first year was fraught with difficulty. With no income, she begged for food and supplies and experienced doubt, loneliness, and the temptation to return to the comfort of convent life during these early months. Teresa, missionaries of charity in traditional saris. On 7th October 1950, Teresa received Vatican permission for the diocesan congregation which would become the missionaries of charity. In her words, it would care for the hungry, the naked, the homeless, the crippled, the blind, the lepers, and all those people who feel unwanted, unloved, uncared for throughout society. People that have become a burden to the society and are shunned by everyone. By 1997, the 13-member Calcutta congregation had grown to more than 4,000 sisters who managed orphanages, aids, hospices and charity centers worldwide, caring for refugees, the blind, disabled, aged, alcoholics, the poor and homeless, and victims of floods, epidemics and famine. In 1952, Teresa opened her first hospice with help from Calcutta. The Teresa opened from Calcutta officials, with the help of the officials. She converted an abandoned Hindu temple into the Kalighat, home for the dying, free for the poor, or named in Kalighat the home of the pure heart. It is called Nirmal Hruday. They brought to home, received medical attention and the opportunity to die with dignity in accordance with their faith. Muslims were read the Quran, Hindus received water from the Gangas, and Catholics received extreme unction. A beautiful death, Teresa said, is for people who lived like animals to die like angels, loved and wanted. Nirmal Hruday, Mother Teresa's Calcutta Hospice in 2007. She opened a hospice for those who are suffering with leprosy, calling it Shanti Nagar, City of Peace. The missionaries of charity established leprosy outreach clinics throughout Calcutta, providing medication, dressings and food. The missionaries of charity took in an increasing number of homeless children. In the year of 1955, Teresa opened Nirmala Shishu Bhavan, the children's home of the Immaculate Heart, as a haven for orphans and homeless youth. The congregation began to attract recruits and donations, and by the 1960s it had open hospices, orphanages and leper houses throughout India. Teresa then expanded the congregation abroad, opening a house in Venezuela in 1965 with 5 sisters. Houses followed in Italy, Rome, Tanzania and Austria in 1968, and during the 1970s the congregation opened houses and foundations in the United States and dozens of countries in Asia, Africa and Europe. The Missionaries of Charity Brothers was founded in 1963 and a contemplative branch of the sisters followed in the year 1976. Lay Catholics and non-Catholics were enrolled in the co-workers of Mother Teresa. The sick and suffering co-workers and the lay missionaries of charity, responding to requests by many praised, in 1981, Mother Teresa founded the Corpus Christi Movement for Priests and the Missionaries of Charity Fathers in the year 1984 to combine the occasional aims of the Missionaries of Charity with the lot of resources of the priesthood. In the year 2007, the Missionaries of Charity numbered about 450 brothers and 5,000 sisters worldwide, operating 600 missions, schools and sisters in 120 countries. She worked in international charity. Teresa said, "By blood I am Albanian, by citizenship an Indian, by faith I am a Catholic nun. As to my calling, I belong to the world. As to my heart, I belong entirely to the heart of Jesus." Fluent in 5 languages: Bengali, Albanian, Serbian, English and Hindi. She made occasional trips outside India for humanitarian reasons. In the year 1982, at the height of the siege of Beirut, Teresa rescued 37 children trapped in a frontline hospital by brokering a temporary ceasefire between the Israeli army and Palestinian guerrillas. Accompanied by Red Cross workers, she travelled through the war zone to the hospital to evacuate the young patients. And late in the year 1980s, Teresa expanded her efforts to communist countries which had rejected the missionaries of charity. They don't allow the missionaries in their communist countries, but she, which had rejected the missionaries of charity, she began dozens of projects undeterred by criticism of her stance against abortion and divorce. No matter who says what, you should accept it with a smile and do your own work. She visited Armenia after a 1988 earthquake and met with Nikolai Ryzhkov, chairman of the Council of Ministers. Teresa travelled to assist the hungry in Ethiopia, radiation victims at Chernobyl and earthquake victims in Armenia. In 1991, she returned to Albania for the first time, opening a Missionaries of Charity Brothers Home in Tirana. In the year 1996, Teresa operated 517 missions in over 100 countries. Her Missionaries of Charity grew from 12,000 serving the poorest of the poor in 450 centers worldwide. The first Missionaries of Charity home in the United States, established in the South Bronx area of New York City, and by 1984 the congregation operated 19 establishments throughout the country. Teresa had a heart attack in Rome in the year 1983 while she was visiting Pope John Paul, following a second attack in the year 1989. She received an artificial pacemaker. In the year 1991, after about a pneumonia in Mexico. She had additional heart problems. Although Teresa offered to resign as head of the Missionaries of Charity, in a secret ballot of sisters of the congregation voted for her to stay and she agreed to continue. In the year 1996 April, she fell, and on 13th March 1997, Teresa resigned as head of the Missionaries of Charity, and she died on September 5th, in the year of 1990. Christopher Columbus. The contributions of eminent social scientists is Christopher Columbus, the son of a wool merchant, was born in Genoa, Italy in the about 1451. When he was still a teenager, he got a job on a merchant ship. He remained at sea until 1470 in the year when French privateers attacked his ship as it sailed north along the Portuguese coast. The boat sank, but the young Columbus floated to shore on a scrap of wood and made his way to Lisbon, where he studied mathematics, astronomy, cartography and navigation. It also began to hatch the plan that would change the world forever. The first voyage at the end of the 15th century, it was nearly impossible to reach Asia from Europe by land. The route was long and arduous, and encounters with hostile armies were difficult to avoid. Portuguese explorers solved this problem by taking to the sea. They sailed south along the West African coast and around the Cape of Good Hope. But Columbus had a different idea. Why not sail west across the Atlantic instead of around the massive African continent? The young navigator's logic was sound, but his math was faulty. He argued that the circumference, he believed that the journey by boat from Europe to Asia should be not only possible but comparatively easy. He presented his plan to officials in Portugal and England, but it was not until in the year 1491 that he found a sympathetic audience. The Spanish monarchs Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella of Castile. Columbus wanted fame and fortune. Ferdinand and Isabella wanted the same, along with the opportunity to export Catholicism to lands across the globe. Columbus' contract with the Spanish rules promised that he could keep the globe. Columbus' contract with the Spanish rules promised that he could keep 10% of whatever riches he found, along with a noble title and the governorship of any lands he should encounter. Nina, Pinta and Santa Maria. In the year 1492, 3rd August, Columbus and his crew set sail from Spain in 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta and the Santa Maria. On October 12th, the ships made landfall not in Asia as Columbus assumed, but on one of the Bahamian islands. For many months, Columbus sailed from island to island in what we now know as the Caribbean, looking for the pearls, precious stones, gold, silver, spices, and other objects and merchandise whatsoever that he had promised to his Spanish patrons. But he did not find much. In the year 1493, March, leaving 40 men behind in makeshift settlement on Hispaniola, Haiti and the Dominican Republic, he returned to Spain. Then later voyages. After 6 months later, in the year 1493 September, Columbus returned to the Americas. He found the Hispaniola settlement destroyed on the day one knows what happened there, and left his brothers Bartolomeo and Diego behind to rebuild along with part of his ship's crew and hundreds of enslaved natives. Then he headed west with his own complement of native slaves to continue his mostly fruitless search for gold and other goods. In lieu of the materials riches he had promised the Spanish monarch, he sent some 500 slaves to Queen Isabella. The queen was horrified. She believed that any people Columbus discovered were Spanish subjects who could not be enslaved, and she promptly and sternly returned the explorer gift. In the year 1948, in the month of May, Columbus sailed and sternly returned the explorer's gift. In the year 1498, Columbus sailed west across the Atlantic for the third time. He visited Trinidad and the South American mainland before returning to the ill-fated Hispaniola settlement, where the colonists had staged a bloody revolt against the Columbus brothers' mismanagement and brutality. Conditions were so bad in that moment that Spanish authorized had to send a new governor to take over. Christopher Columbus was arrested and returned to Spain in chains. In the year 1502, cleared of the most serious charges but stripped of his noble titles, the aging Columbus persuaded the Spanish king to pay for one last trip across the Atlantic. This time, Columbus made it all the way to Panama, just miles from the Pacific Ocean, where he had abandoned 2 of 4 ships in the face of an attack from hostile natives. Empty-handed, the elderly explorer returned to Spain, where he died in the year 1506. Legacy of Christopher Columbus. So Columbus did not discover the Americas, nor was he even the first European to visit the New World. So his journey kicked off countries of exploration and exploitation on the American continents. The consequences of exploration were severe for the native populations of the areas he and the conquistadors conquered. Disease and environmental changes resulted in the destruction of the majority of the native population over time, while Europeans continued to extract natural resources from these territories. Today, Columbus has a controversial legacy and he is remembered as a daring and path-breaking explorer who transformed the New World. Yet, his actions also unleashed changes that would eventually devastate the native populations he and his fellow explorers encountered.